Good day, class. I will be your English language tutor, and our first lesson is on comprehension. What is comprehension? Comprehension has been defined in various ways by authors and scholars. Our purpose here is not to uphold or disprove of any attempt made by an author in defining the term, but to briefly stress important elements in the various definitions given by authors and scholars. Comprehension means understanding, the ability of a person to read, write, and listen with understanding. Therefore, comprehension is complete upon understanding. One important factor of understanding is that fundamental skills of language are basic where this is concerned. When we talk about the fundamental skills of language, we're talking about speaking, we're talking about reading, we're talking about writing. When the first skill a person learns as a child is speaking, we are keeping listening out of this. Every human language has three main basic skills, namely speaking, writing, and reading. They are fundamental to learning and understanding language. It is pertinent to state that some people in Africa, in particular, and elsewhere in the world, are not educated in their mother tongue, in the sense that they only have partial understanding of it. Most of such people can speak, but cannot read or write in their language. Now, let's move on to the purpose of the test. Why comprehension? We are made to understand that comprehension is an intelligence-based test, because all the topics in English are integrated in comprehension. We talk about composition is there, speech is there, writing composition is there. So all the areas of English language as a subject are in comprehension. The test is based on 4 forms of writing: narration, description, exposition, and argument. Candidates are expected to be acquainted with the 4 forms of writing, since the test of knowledge lies in the amount of understanding a person has of a language, the use of English in this case. The purpose of this test are highlighted below. Number 1, to test candidates' ability to read. The test of comprehension is basic upon reading. Where a candidate doesn't know how to read, he should not take the test. Reading is the first test. And now, when we talk about reading, it goes beyond the ability to identify words, to pronounce words. Reading is based on understanding. We have various writers, and they write based on their learning and experiences. Where a person who has learned much writes based on research, he cannot write for the general public. He writes for a specific audience. If anyone below his class picks his work to read, he might not understand it. So the test of comprehension goes beyond just reading, which is identifying words and pronouncing them. It has to do with understanding. This is why many people read books and they don't understand what they read, because of language and style. Number 2, to test candidates' ability to reason coherently. For a candidate to be able to read and understand a passage, he should be able to reason coherently. What is this line talking about? What is the author talking about? What is the purpose or objective of this passage? Number 3, to test candidates' ability to deduce facts reasonably from a passage or to make inference from implied meanings. There is a difference between implied meanings and inferred meanings. When we talk about implied meanings, we're talking about a writer and a speaker. The meaning given to an expression by a writer or a speaker is simply implied. And from the angle of the listener or reader, it is inference. Many people don't speak with explicit meaning. The meanings of expressions are hidden, and that is why most expressions are implied. In questions such as, according to a passage, according to a writer, according to the narrator, what is the meaning of this or that? The meaning can just be implied. And so when a candidate goes straight to any answer lifted directly from a passage, he fails the test, he fails that question. The correct answer to a question that is implied is always not stated, it's not explicit. Number 4, the purpose of comprehension is to test candidates' ability to develop synthetic ideas readily and do critical reading. And now when we talk about synthetic ideas, we're talking about previous knowledge, things that are not included in a passage. Outside the passage, you get a piece of information from previous knowledge and then combine it from a piece of information from the passage before you. Then you have what we call synthetic idea. And this is always about what you know. What is your feeling about this? Do you know this or that? The answers to such questions could be yes or no. Now let us look at some hints on the test of comprehension. There are 3 aspects of comprehension. We have the reading comprehension, the writing comprehension, and the listening comprehension. Of all the aspects just mentioned, reading has been the convention on which national exams are based. Even international exams based. For example, TOEFL, IELTS, SAT, they are all based on reading comprehension. Therefore, our focus shall be on reading. Reading is a skill. A person who has this skill is said to be literate. A candidate whose reading skill has not been developed fully faces challenges in comprehension tests or exercise because they find it difficult to have full grasp of a well-written literary piece. In the test of understanding a passage, it is important to note that an in-depth understanding of a passage may be impossible where a 400-word passage is rushed through once. In reading, some techniques come handy. There are 3 techniques that every student needs to know about or learn, for example, and that is scanning, which is summary, skimming, and intensive reading. Let's stop here for now. In our next class, I'll take you to the next level where this topic is concerned.